Jesus said to his disciples, "Compare me to someone and tell me what I am like." Simon Peter said to him, "You are like a just messenger." Matthew said to him, "You are like a wise philosopher." Thomas said to him, "Teacher, my mouth is utterly unable to say what you are like." Jesus said, "I am not your teacher. Because you have drunk, you have become intoxicated from the bubbling spring that I have tended." And he took him and withdrew and spoke three sayings to him. When Thomas came back to his friends, they asked him, "What did Jesus say to you?" Thomas said to them, "If I tell you one of the sayings he spoke to me, you will pick up rocks and stone me, and fire will come from the rocks and devour you."
Okay.
This logion highlights the limitation of words and the direct experience of truth. The disciples try to categorize Jesus, but Thomas recognizes the ineffable nature, earning private revelation. The bubbling spring is the flow of the event stream, tended by Jesus' teachings. Drinking from it intoxicates with astonishment. The three sayings are hidden, emphasizing personal inner work over shared knowledge. Basically, one cannot be told these truths. They must be experienced to be owned. Revealing them could ignite destruction in unprepared minds. For manifestation, this instructs that true understanding comes from direct immersion in the plethora's flow, not intellectual labels. Fire coming from the rocks to devour the disciples is warning of the dangers of this knowledge without preparation, that the understanding of the common shared reality as being constantly recreated would destroy them as though through fire. Whoa.
So what Jesus had like a private session with Thomas where he explained him all those three
He said him
sayings.
something he said him something more, but it's not entirely revealed what. He's only commented that
Okay.
whatever was said was only privately for him, because anybody else of the other guys hearing the same stuff without coming to the same knowledge like he is, could not have understood. That's what he said. Guys, not yet.
Not ready. Only Thomas was ready.
Yeah, and the thing that it's again, those words are not enough. You know how you cannot tell deep knowledge by using the language available at that time, fires and rocks and all of that. So it's very pertinent that all of them have been translated a bit more to a modern language. So essentially, yes, he took him aside and spoke three sayings, like he said, three quotes completely. And then they said, "What did you say? If I tell you even one," so he doesn't say nothing, which is like fire coming to these rocks. So you cannot be too rushing with implementing all of these things. So I'd say limitation of the words is important here. Dangers of this knowledge without preparation. If we were to take one sentence from that paragraph.
Are they revealed later or it's still unknown thing?
Well, yet to see.
Okay.
Or yet to see. If you want, we can scroll ahead and have a bit of a preview from what's
No,
to come.
no, just leave it as it is. I mean, just
You almost got me there for a moment.
we'll see in the future if it's true or not.
It reveals on it's a bit of an intrigue. It reveals on its own when it's ready. So the three sayings are hidden here. So nobody is revealing nothing. It's emphasizing personal inner work over shared knowledge. One cannot be told. One cannot be told what the matrix is. You must see it for yourself. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Mm.
It must be experienced to be like really perceived. Which brings
Like
us to
I like most of the things in life, I guess. You can describe as good as you want them, but better to experience.
if we are to see, should we be able to see? Yeah, you should be able to. So it says Revelations yard sale, because this book, this story of ours is also like uh, revelations, things that should be read
Miracles,
and would be
spells, old
interesting.
faith, beliefs, gods, spells, temples, scriptures, churches, status.
And that's basis, altars and tarot and candles and rituals and dogma is like the super basis of it all. Rituals and dogma, interesting. You think that's all you need?
Divine spark.
Read. I read this, you read the other one. I believe so. So she goes away. Anyway, next one. To master the forces of nature, one must first learn to obey them. The magician does not command the storm. He aligns his will with the law that governs it. Again, the same thing in different words. Because anything you say after I am, you become. Because words cast powerful spells. That's why it's called spelling. I am. So who are you? I am. This is going to become important a bit later. And here's a relevant story, which we have, which we can relate to like in a minute. The fear of not being enough and the fear of being too much is exactly the same fear, the fear of being you. So again, you need to think of who you really want to be and become that. Start with thinking. And here's one more important thing from Cliff himself. How does the observer observe himself observing? We can't get outside the human consciousness experience to quantify it. Consciousness from within itself defies reductionist techniques, which is pretty much all our rational materialist science has as a tool. As it is impossible for us to get outside of consciousness, there is only one other path available. For the bigger consciousness to create these little consciousnesses, to crawl around, and from the inside of this construct, you start to become real. Oh, hold on, this must be such a thing like a God here somewhere. And then the bigger consciousness can experience himself by somebody who's inside and watching it from inside and becoming aware of the thing. Oh my God, this is what's going on around here. You are not the thoughts that you think, again from Cliff. You do not think nor create these thoughts. You become aware of experiencing the thoughts. The observer is aware of both the experience and the thought. The observer is not changed by either the experience nor the thought. The observer witnesses the changes affected in that which experiences by the thought that it experiences. Oh my goodness, that was
What a mind.
The observer witnesses the changes affected in that which experiences. So the observer witnesses the changes. These changes are affected in that which experiences, which is the observer himself, by the thought that it experiences, it being the observer again. So observer experiences a thought and gets affected by that and witnesses the changes it creates it in himself, to put it another way. Identity tied to thought whips the observer with the whims of the mind. What's the whim? Whoa, that was a good one. Identity tied to thought whips the observer with the whims of the mind. Identity rooted in experience chains the observer to the body. Life lived observing brings liberation to the human. Life lived observing reveals the event stream, this eternal now, and the pleroma. Life lived observing will reflect back self to the observer within its observations. Those minds not having experienced observer observing its observations label this as enlightenment.
Those
Those
mind not
minds,
having experience, observer observing its observations. Observer
right,
observing its observations.
those minds having liberation of observation label it as this body is life. If someone would also want to pause. People overcomplicate manifestation so much, like it's not some advanced science experiment. High bent reality, Zayon writes. It's literally just attention management. Just ask yourself one question right now. If I already had my desire, where would my attention naturally be? What kind of thoughts would I be entertaining? Now put your attention there more often. If I had my desire, where would my attention be? Put your attention there.
Desire.
All right, and this is about another person's quite interesting trip. And now we're gonna go into finding out where is this thing. What would a butterfly have to do with everything? Because we can see the spring is starting to come to be a little bit more visible here.